Good afternoon, everybody. I am thrilled to welcome you all here today. Obviously, you look out the window, you see we're not quite finished with the project yet, but we felt that we needed to stop just for a moment, acknowledge all the work that's been done, and give the community an opportunity to share in this great accomplishment. How many people out there are Fauquier High School graduates? Yeah, a fair number of you. That's good. I'm sure that all of you, just like I have great memories, I'm sure all of you have great memories of your time at Fauquier High School. Those of you that didn't graduate from here, I'm sure you have memories, good memories of your time in high school, but they certainly couldn't be as good as ours from here. So, Duke Bland was another 1971 graduate. Duke and I were very fortunate. We got to spend 5 years here. At that time, 8th grade, not because we had problems, but because, but because at that time, 8th grade was part of the high school. So we had 5 years to make a lot of real good memories. And for me, those memories always start with the great teachers. And at the top of that list for me was Ms. Bartenstein, and our English teacher, and she made college English a breeze. I am still, though, trying to figure out at what point in my life it is going to be of value to me to know the prologue to the Canterbury Tales. How many? Those of you that had to do that, my brother and I have for years waited for the day we could go on Jeopardy so that we would know an answer. Then, of course, we go to Ms. Ritchie, and I'm not sure that fond is how I would describe my time in physics class, but a great teacher. Colonel Marshall, such a presence in his classroom. Ms. Hofer, I don't know if Joyce is here today. Her daughter Joyce is a teacher for us over at Taylor. Eric Dalton in the science department. Eric worked for years in the school system and retired just a couple of years ago. From central office. Ed Lloyd, he's still supporting our schools. He attended one of our school board meetings last spring with his grandchildren. And for those of you that not quite of an age that we are, I've heard so many people speak so fondly of their time in where is Dr. Mitchell? Of their time in Dr. Mitchell's class. There she's hiding, yeah. But those memories don't just revolve around the teachers. They were the experiences that we had also. I asked my husband what was his takeaway, what was his fond memory from Fauquier High School. And, of course, you know what he said? Football, of course. His time playing football, his time on the golf team. And for another one, he said, well, you know, Ms. Bell and those ladies in the cafeteria always fed us really well. So everybody has a different takeaway. One of the other things that always jumps in my mind is the day I got sent home from Fauquier High School. I had the audacity to wear pants to school. And at that time, girls couldn't wear pants to school. But you notice now. And let me finish. So Coach Heath had to load all of us in his driver's ed car, drive us around to our respective homes, and we came back to school with the dress on. But now those girls can wear pants to school. So, I think the greatest takeaway for me, and one of the best memories, is how we were such a family. We came together from Duke's end of the county to my end of the county, and we all came together. We brought Cedarly, Warrington, Taylor, and Marshall. High schools had come together all right here. We were the only high school in the county at the time, and we became a family. So many of the teachers that were here knew our families because they had either taught, as in Ms. Bartenstein's class, she taught my mother, or they had taught older siblings. So there was already this sense of family. We all knew each other, and over those 5 years, that connection just grew and became so strong, and to this day, you can see somebody from across the county that there's that connection because either your brother went to school with his sister or so it goes, and that's the best takeaway for me. But I think like a lot of things in life, childbirth, for instance, we remember the good, forget the bad, and at Fauquier there was plenty of bad. there was a number of things that needed addressing. So it has been especially gratifying for me to have been part of the previous board that said, you know, we're going to stop kicking this can down the road. It is time to address the needs of Fauquier High School. At the time, we had a great leader in Dr. Lewis who was ready to take on the project, and we had a majority on the Board of Supervisors who said, we agree the time has come. We will address the needs. So on behalf of the current board, and I hope the citizens of Fauquier County, I want to express our deep appreciation to Dr. Lewis for his tremendous leadership throughout this whole project, to the advisory committee, and Ms. Bourne is going to talk about them a little bit in a few minutes, but that advisory committee had the collective wisdom to hire the best architect, VMDO, and the best construction management team of Whiting Turner. We are so appreciative of their help on this project. We want to thank Peter Swartz for his support and his vision through this whole process. We want to thank Warren Darrell. Where'd Warren go? In my mind, I picture Warren as this little bulldog over here in the trenches. Nothing gets by Warren, and we're so appreciative of his work. We want to thank Greg Livesey. I'm not sure that Greg is here. Through the facilities department, he had to take on some of the projects that weren't funded in the renovation budget. And when you take a look in the auditorium today, you'll see some of Greg's work. The theater room, you'll see some of Greg's department's work, I think. So we're appreciative of that. Fred Lester, Fred's out there somewhere. There he is. Fred is our area building manager here at Fauquier. Fred has spent so much time, I think, they say there's a cot in a closet somewhere. Right, Fred? And we are so appreciative of the time and work that you've put into this. Lastly, we want to thank Janice Bourne. I remember early, very early in the project, and we thought we were never going to get off the ground. And Dr. Lewis said to me, I just want to get this project going so I can turn it over to Janice and let her do her job. Folks, let me tell you, she did her job. Please, everybody, take the time to tour the new areas, the newly renovated areas. Pop into the Falcon Room. You can watch a little video. When you go down to the make sure you go down to Performing Arts. You'll notice that you can now walk to the biology classrooms, and you don't even have to go outside. You stick your head in the auditorium. You see the work there. You'll see the new. Just make sure you check it all out. It is well worth it. And I hope that when you get done with your tour, that you will agree with me that this is a great value for the taxpayers of Fauquier County and an exceptional learning environment for the students of Fauquier High School for many, many years to come. Thank you again, and I believe at this time I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Lewis.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. I want to thank Janice for inviting me to come and be able to offer just a few remarks. It's really an honor to be back here. I haven't been back in some time, and I'm really excited. I haven't taken the tour, so I'm like you. I'm looking forward to seeing everything that's been done since I left. On Saturday afternoons, I spend a lot of time when I can watching football, and yesterday I had an opportunity to see the Navy-Notre Dame game. I don't know if any of you caught that game on TV, but it was rather extraordinary. Notre Dame won in the final minutes with a score with 2 or 3 minutes on the clock, and it was at Notre Dame, I believe, so I think that was appropriate. And it was a really great battle. I think it was 37-35. But when the game ended, something rather remarkable happened. And I was watching it, and I was transfixed. When the game ended, I think there probably were 100,000 people there. Both teams jogged to one end zone, and the Navy band played the alma mater, and everyone stood. And when it was over, together, they all jogged down to the other end of the field, and the Notre Dame band played the alma mater, and everybody stood. And then together, calmly, they all walked off the field. And it was a remarkable moment, and it took my breath away. I just watched it. I just couldn't believe it, because it's such an uncommon thing in this day. And I thought, there was a great deal of intentionality. That didn't happen by accident. The people who put that game on said, we want this game to be special. We want the ending to be extraordinary, beautiful, and compelling. And it was. And I was moved by it. And I got to thinking today that few things that are excellent happen spontaneously or by accident. They happen intentionally. And as we stand in this absolutely extraordinary, beautiful, and compelling school, I have to think that we're here because the community came together and decided that it wanted to do something special and different. It was intentional. I remember the day when Janice Bourne walked in my office and said, I think we can get something done over at Fauquier High School. I said, what do you have in mind? She had a lot in mind. She had a wonderful vision for what we might be able to do at a time when the economy was down and few people felt that we could ever really get a project like this off the ground. But she believed, and she had a strength of conviction that really was compelling. And it was her energy and her vision that then drove us, I think, to where we are today. Because from that moment until today, she has shown remarkable vision and a remarkable personal strength to manage the process through all the ups and downs that are part of any construction process. And so we're here today because of Janice Bourne's vision and personal strength. But there are a number of other people who had a great deal to do with this as well. The school board, I remember those early conversations kind of were wide-eyed when we talked about what we wanted to get done. And yet, with Donna's leadership and Duke's leadership on the building committee and the board in general, they were willing to take some risks. And they said, let's do it. Let's do this, even though it's kind of counterintuitive that a community could build this kind of project at a time when the economy is failing. And so it was Janice's leadership, Duke and Donna, and the board's commitment and willingness to support us. And again, it's a bit redundant, Warren's work each day. Warren Darrell's been on this site every day, bird dogging this from its inception, and it's been his skill and his vigilance, I think, that helped us get the project done as well as it was done. And Bob Moji, Casey with VMDO, and Whiting Turner. I've been involved in many building projects through the years, but none of them has gone as smoothly and has ended up so beautifully as the Fauquier High School renovation. I think it's a tribute to both firms, their talent, their skill, their dedication, and their willingness to come to the table in the CM at Risk model and work as a team, because it really did work as it was intended to work. And finally, Peter, I remember those conversations. All the great plans in the world can't get done if you don't have the dollars. And I remember those conversations early on with Peter, and he threw his support to a project that was somewhat controversial at a time when money was tight. But I think in his wisdom, as both a businessman and someone who's used to dealing in the world of construction, he saw the opportunity for the community. He saw there would be value added, and he helped work with us and with the Board of Supervisors to get the initial funding, and then I think in an even grander way allowed the scope to evolve during the course of the project so that we were able to get done even more than was initially anticipated. There were many, many other people within the community who participated in the project. It truly has been a labor of love. And I think as we tour today and take a look at what the community has been able to achieve, it should really be an inspiration for us, because it's a tribute, I think, to that a community can come together with a vision and be able to do something like this together. It bodes well for the future and things that we can do, that Fauquier County can do moving forward for its children. I will tell you, this school will be here long after all of us are gone, and it will be serving the children beautifully and well for generations and generations, and it lifts my heart to be here today. And I thank you for asking me to join you, and I wish all of you the very best of luck. Thank you. Peter, would you like to come up and say a few words?
Thank you, Jonathan. It's a pleasure to be here. On behalf of the Board of Supervisors and two of my colleagues, our chair, Holder Trumbo, is here. The Center District Supervisor, Chris Granger, is here. We really congratulate the school board, school administration, and all of you on this wonderful project. From the very beginning, all of us who were talking about this project felt that it was very important that, one, we had a project that our kids could really be proud of, where great education could occur and our kids could feel really good in the school environment that was being created. And I think we've accomplished that. We also wanted a facility, frankly, that our parents could be really proud of. And I think we've accomplished that. A facility that our community could be really proud of. And I think we've accomplished that as well. A couple of the folks who have spoken alluded to the fact that it was a real challenge to try to accomplish this in a very, very difficult economic situation where there was a lot of uncertainty, generally in the economy, but certainly within the realm of the county budget and potential revenue. And Holder and Chris know that the last 4 or 5 years for the supervisors have been an incredibly challenging time in terms of finding the revenue to meet many of our community needs. And I'm particularly pleased with the outcome, not only just because we have a great facility, but we really did end up with a wonderful value for the taxpayers. We have effectively a new high school here at Fauquier High, and we did it for about half the price that it costs to build a new high school from scratch. That's great value for the taxpayers of Fauquier County, and not only were we able to do it for about half the price, but working with both the school board, school administration, the supervisors, we were able to put together a financial package where about 1/3 of the cost of this renovation was able to be paid for out of cash reserves. 1/3 of it was able to be paid for with loan money that had a 0 interest rate coming from the federal government. And the final 1/3 of it was able to be paid for with more conventional financing, but because of the state of the economy at the time, the interest rate was locked in at a very, very low rate. So when you put all of that together, it's an incredible facility with incredible value. I have walked through the school many times during the course of the renovations and even more recently, and I couldn't be more proud of the result. So it was a pleasure to work with so many people, both in the school division and in the county government, to make this happen. And my particular thanks to all who were involved, but in particular the school board for their perseverance, and my colleagues on the Board of Supervisors for their support and perseverance in a very trying economic situation to get the job done. Thank you very much.
I'm going to read my comments. If I didn't, I'd say way too much. First, I'd like to thank all of you for coming today to help us celebrate, because it is a beautiful new school. It's been very exciting and rewarding for all of us, and we were very fortunate to have many talented and dedicated individuals who were willing to serve on our team to accomplish the result that you see here today. And I'd like to recognize those, and I'd like to thank everybody, even those who aren't here, that were not on the committee but who were part of this project, for their time and effort on this project. But I would like to have the team, for the renovation advisory team, come forward as I call your name, and hold any applause, if you will, to the end. I'd like to recognize each of them with a certificate. First, is Bill Downey here? Bill Downey was on our team. As you know, Mr. Downey was a member of the school board and the Board of Supervisors, and he is in the construction management business. And so we benefited from his expertise in serving on the committee. So we would like to thank him. Mr. G.T. Ward. Mr. Ward, will you come forward and just stand right up here? Mr. Ward, I would like to present you this certificate in appreciation for the work you did on the committee. Mr. Ward is an architect by trade. He is well known in the industry. He did work at, for example, in designing buildings at Virginia Tech, and we benefited greatly by having him on our team. He is a member of this community, and so we're very appreciative. Thank you. Also on the committee, we had two members from the town of Warrenton, Chris Mothershead and Sarah Sitterly. I don't know if they're here today, but we did benefit by working with our other agencies in the community to help make this project a reality, and we're very grateful to them for that. Mr. Seitz, will you please come forward? Mr. Seitz served on the advisory committee, and of course he was the principal of Fauquier High School during most of this project, and we are very grateful for the work he did. So thank you, Mr. Seitz. I will have more to say on that in a minute. Peter Schwartz. Mr. Schwartz didn't originally agree to serve on the committee, but he kept giving us so much advice that was valuable and helped raise money for many of the enhancements that you see here today. So, Mr. Schwartz, I would like to give you a certificate and thank you for your work. Thank you so much. We asked him to serve on the committee originally, but he thought maybe he shouldn't, that there might be a conflict of interest, but then he realized that he really needed to be part of the project. So we're grateful for that. I would like Duke Bland, our member of our school board, and Mr. Bland is also the chairman of the building committee, and he served on the committee. Of course, we couldn't do it without Duke Bland. So, Mr. Bland, thank you. Donna Grove, who is the chairman for our school board and also is a member of our building committee. Thank you. Jonathan Lewis, who of course was our former school board member, and Dr. Lewis was in this project from the beginning until he retired in December 2012. So we miss him, but we're grateful for his work. Bob Mojay with VMDO Architects. There were several with VMDO who served on the committee, and so if Bob will come forward, I would like to thank you for your help on the committee. John Shealy. We couldn't have done the project without John. John's also with VMDO, and he was kind of the day-to-day guy who was either here or on the phone or working on our behalf in one capacity or another. Thank you, John. Is Jim Richardson with VMDO here? Did Jim come today? Jim was also with VMDO, and he did help us out when we were in the development of the project with the design and some of the things you see in the front of the building, so we appreciate Jim's effort. For Whiting Turner, we had several that worked with us on the committee on a regular basis. First, Kimpton Hale, KC, will you come forward? Of course, KC also was very instrumental in giving us information and helping the school board and the Board of Supervisors in making decisions about the project and project funding. We couldn't have done it without KC. KC, thank you. Randy Reesner. Randy's also with VMDO. I know he's here today. Randy, if you'll come forward. Randy certainly helped us from the beginning and until he turned the project over to, once we got well under construction, he turned it over to others, but he was very helpful and continues to help us behind the scenes. Thank you, Randy. Is John Evers here today? John Evers was also, he also served on the advisory committee, and he is with Whiting Turner, and John's here in the trenches every day. He's moved on to another project now that the project's wound down more, but he's been very helpful to us, and we appreciate your efforts on our behalf. Thank you. And then there are the Fauquier the Fauquier Public School staff who worked on the project. Warren Darrell. Warren, if you'll come up, Warren's our Director of Construction, and of course you've heard others say how much he did on this project, but at this point, he was on the committee, and I would like to thank him for his work. Warren, thank you. Fred Lester, will you come forward? Fred also was on the advisory committee, and he's the project manager. He is an area building manager, but he was the project manager for us on this project. Thank you, Fred. Greg Livesey. I don't think Greg's here, but Greg is the facilities director for us. And as Donna Grove said, he did have part of the project and also provided support for the project, and I'd like to thank him. With that said, I'd like to thank all of you for your work on the committee, but I do have some individuals that I would like to recognize further. And as has been mentioned, this was a challenging and ambitious project. It's a school with long traditions. The site is very challenging. You see that it's got a lot of grade level changes. And the school needed to continue operating for the duration of the project, which also added challenges. And in addition to that, the project required very tight timelines because school was in session and we had to meet certain deadlines to keep teaching kids. So there are people that made this happen from conception to completion, and so I have some special awards that I'd like to give to them. First, I'd like to ask Dr. Lewis to come forward. Let's see if I can. When Dr. Lewis came to Fauquier County Public Schools, we talked about the school division's long-term efforts to obtain funding to renovate Fauquier High School. We'd been trying to get Fauquier High School renovated for many years in the capital plan. He had some wonderful comments about me, but really it took Dr. Lewis's leadership to make it happen. After completing Kettle Run, Dr. Lewis and the School Board Building Committee, Mrs. Grove and Mr. Bland, made Fauquier High School the #1 priority in the capital plan, and the school board supported that. Dr. Lewis was instrumental in working with Mr. McCullough, the county administrator, and county board members, Mr. Schwartz and Mr. Nyhouse to begin with, to obtain support and funding for this project. So I would like to ask Dr. Lewis to accept this plaque in appreciation for your contribution in making this project a reality and for your vision and leadership during the project design and construction. Will VMDO, Bob Moji and John Shealy, please come forward? The design and engineering contract for this project was awarded to VMDO. They worked with the committee, division staff, school staff, and the community, literally, to establish and achieve the project goals. We now have this beautiful new building and other improved areas of Fauquier High School, which, by the way, are built to energy-efficient standards. I would like to present VMDO with this plaque and with our thanks and appreciation for a school that will inspire and serve us for many years to come. Will Whiting Turner, Randy, and Casey please come forward? And John, thank you. Sorry, and John. And if there are other Whiting Turner people, I'd love for them to come forward too. I actually wrote down here all, but then I didn't read it. Whiting Turner served as our construction management firm on this project, coordinating all the bid packages for the work throughout the project phases and overseeing all the work of subcontractors. They literally partnered with us to ensure the project would be accomplished on time while maintaining the environment that allowed the school to continue operating in the midst of all the construction activity. Please accept this plaque in appreciation and thanks for your work on the project. Will Mr. Seitz please come forward? You thought you could leave, didn't you? Yeah, no, you get to come up here again. You know how special you are. Mr. Seitz not only served on the committee, he was also on site every day during the project, ensuring teachers and students could focus on their tasks while coordinating school activities so that the project could stay on schedule. Operating a school during a major construction project is challenging, to say the least. Mr. Seitz, thank you for your contribution to the project. Will Warren Darrell please come forward? As the school division's director of construction, Mr. Darrell, as you've heard, has been on site every day. Weekends, holidays, no day or time was sacred. He serves the school division very well, and his work on this project is no exception. He ensured the construction work was consistent with specifications, the expected quality was achieved, and the schedule and budget, and you would think every penny of it was his, were met. Warren, on behalf of the school division, I cannot thank you enough for your commitment, attention to detail, and resolve to achieve the project our teachers, students, and community deserve. And will Fred Lester please come forward? Oh, see, you're not off the hook either. Mr. Lester, as Donna alluded to, essentially moved his office to Fauquier High School for the duration of this project. He worked daily to oversee the construction activities. He has served this school division well as he has interfaced with Whiting Turner and school staff to balance maintaining school operations and maintaining construction activities, which could and were often in conflict, such as when to cut the water off, electricity needed to be cut off to get work done, which is hard to do when school is in session, and tasks required significant coordination. Fred, please accept our thanks for your work on this project. So we are very grateful. We have a lot of excellent people that worked on this project, and I'm grateful to each of them, as well as to the students and staff here who endured a lot during the project.
Hold on. At this time, I'm just going to read this one last plaque. It says, "To Janice Bourne, Assistant Superintendent for Administration, in appreciation for your outstanding leadership, service, and dedication throughout the effort to win support for the addition and renovation project and during the construction and renovation project itself, contributing to the successful and timely completion of a school that will inspire staff and students for many years." Thank you, Janice.
Well, I did think these were beautiful. I'm glad to have one. And so now, really, the moment that we're all waiting for is the ribbon cutting. So I would like to invite Mr. Burton, the principal of Fauquier High School, to step forward. And Mr. Burton, I'll have him invite whoever he has planned to. I'll just let him make those.
And I promise to be quick because, much like Dr. Jeck, I came aboard July 1st as a new principal, and they say to me, "Here you go, you got a beautiful building, just don't mess it up." And I'm like, "Thank you very much." I think the building shows how much our community really cares about kids and education. We've been a community school for 50 years. Fauquier High School means a lot to a lot of different people. We have so many graduates out there. We have children of graduates. We have children of grandparents who are graduates of our school. So it's a very important place, and our community has spoken, and it's clear to everyone how much we invest in our children, how much we invest in their future. So I just want to reiterate what's been said several times today. Thank you to our community. With that being said, let's cut the ribbon so you can walk around and see what we have to offer. Can't find the scissors. Hey, here we go. Here we go. Let's do this together here. Everybody take a little hand up. One, two, three. Right there. And here's Dr. J.
All right, again, very brief. Thank you all. I did want to mention that earlier in the year, I was talking to someone, a reporter, I think, from one of the local papers, and said, you know, a project like this, you got to make it last 40, 50 years or so. So it's really important to get it right. And hats off to Fauquier County. They got this project right. It's a beautiful building and absolutely 100% outstanding project. Thank you all for coming. Please stick around. Enjoy the slideshow in the Falcon Room. Take a look. Enjoy some refreshments. And again, thank you all for being here. Have a great day.
Or no,